Prince William getting involved in a tragic accident that almost ended up worse than anyone will have expected. Welcome viewers to my channel. Please subscribe, like my video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. The sun had barely pierced the horizon when Prince William awoke, as he did on most mornings, to a world already in motion. The subtle hum of staff moving through the corridors of the royal estate was a quiet reminder that even in the seeming calm of dawn, the gears of the monarchy never truly rested. To many, mornings might begin with coffee, the soft click of a newspaper, or the casual buzz of messages on a phone. For Prince William, mornings carried purpose, a delicate balance of personal routine and the invisible weight of duty. Every day held appointments, engagements, and responsibilities, each carefully choreographed, each demanding the attention of a man navigating a life lived both publicly and privately. On this particular morning, nothing suggested the ordinary would shatter into something extraordinary. The day's agenda was straightforward. A series of engagements related to charitable initiatives, a meeting with staff to discuss ongoing projects, and perhaps a moment of quiet with his family before the public eye beckoned him once more. Yet the stillness of routine often masks the unpredictable nature of life, and the ordinary can, without warning, become the site of chaos. As William prepared for the day, there was a familiar rhythm to his movements, a practiced sequence honed over decades of public service and personal discipline. He readied himself not just physically, but mentally, aware that each appearance, each engagement carried weight beyond the immediate moment. His thoughts drifted briefly to his children, the life he had worked tirelessly to nurture, and the quiet hope that they would one day understand the complexities and demands of the life into which they had been born. Such reflections were fleeting, easily overshadowed by the tasks awaiting him. Yet they remained a constant undercurrent, a reminder of the deeply human dimensions beneath the regal exterior. Stepping outside, the crisp air of the English morning greeted him. The estate lay bathed in soft golden light, dew glinting on manicured lawns, and bird song filling the quiet spaces between the distant sounds of morning activity. In many ways, the world appeared tranquil, almost impervious to the tension that would soon erupt. William's mind, however, remained sharply attuned to the responsibilities of the day. Meetings with advisors, briefings from staff, and the inevitable public appearances demanded focus, precision, and composure. Yet, as history has shown time and again, life has a way of reminding even the most prepared individuals that unpredictability is never far away. He mounted his vehicle for the first engagement, a simple commute along roads that were as familiar as the corridors of the palace. Yet familiarity often breeds a subtle complacency, a gentle underestimation of the unexpected. The journey began without incident. The engines hum a steady companion to the prince's thoughts. He considered the projects he would discuss, the impact of ongoing charitable work, and the broader responsibilities of a life dedicated to public service. At that moment, the world seemed to move with the expected rhythm, and any disruption appeared inconceivable. But life rarely adheres to expectations. As the vehicle traced familiar curves, subtle signs of change began to appear. An unusual glint on the road, the barely perceptible sound of uneven terrain, or the momentary lapse of focus caused by the weight of thought. These minor anomalies, innocuous in isolation, began to converge in ways that would transform an ordinary day into a near tragedy. The mind, even that of a royal trained to anticipate and respond, cannot always account for the confluence of factors that accidents require: timing, circumstance, human error, and the mercurial nature of fate. It began subtly, a slight jolt under the tires, the almost imperceptible shift of the vehicle's balance. A trained eye might have detected it. An untrained one might have dismissed it as the road's natural irregularity. Yet, in those brief seconds, the seeds of crisis were planted. William's instincts, sharpened by military training and countless engagements requiring rapid assessment and action, kicked in. His eyes scanned the road, the surroundings, the potential threats that had appeared without warning. There was no panic, only an acute awareness that something was amiss, a tension in the air that demanded immediate attention. For those who have never experienced the sudden onset of danger, it is difficult to convey the precise combination of clarity and chaos that floods the mind. Thoughts race even as time seems to slow. Decisions, sometimes life-saving, must be made in fractions of a second. And in the midst of this heightened awareness, the ordinary markers of routine, the soft hum of an engine, the routine gestures of daily life suddenly become irrelevant. All that matters is the split-second assessment of threat, the response that separates survival from catastrophe. The vehicle hit a minor obstruction, something easily overlooked under normal circumstances. But at that precise moment, the combination of speed, terrain, and reaction set in motion a sequence of events that would escalate rapidly. William's hands gripped the wheel with measured determination, eyes scanning for safe paths, muscles tensed for evasive maneuvers. The world around him, previously familiar and stable, had become a landscape of uncertainty, every detail amplified by the proximity of danger. It was in these moments that the human element became paramount. Training, instinct, and composure are essential, but they exist alongside a more fragile emotional dimension, the fear that accompanies near-miss experiences, the awareness of one's own vulnerability, and the sudden confrontation with mortality. For Prince William, a man accustomed to public scrutiny and ceremonial expectation, this was a confrontation on a deeply personal level. The public image, the duty, the regal poise, all of it was stripped away, leaving only a man faced with the stark reality of peril. Continuing Chapter 1 to reach the full 2:0 words, The jolt from the obstruction was the spark, but it was followed immediately by a series of compounding factors that transformed a minor incident into a near disaster. The tires skidded slightly, the vehicle's momentum shifting unpredictably, and for the first time, Prince William felt the sharp, unmistakable grip of adrenaline. His training in high-pressure scenarios kicked in instinctively, but even the most refined instincts could not eliminate the chaotic variables converging around him. He maneuvered with precision, seeking balance and control, yet each correction revealed new challenges. A slick patch of road, a sudden gust of wind, the angle of the incline, all subtle forces that could tip the situation from manageable to catastrophic. In that tense sequence of seconds, the prince's mind raced not only with the mechanics of survival, but with a cascade of immediate human concerns. Thoughts of family, of Kate and the children, of the possibility that this day could end in irrevocable loss, surged forward unbidden. It is one thing to confront danger in abstract terms. It is quite another to know that one's life is teetering on the edge, that every decision could irreversibly alter the lives of loved ones. This internal tension, invisible to the world outside, added a profound emotional weight to each maneuver, each split-second judgment. Outside the vehicle, the world carried on, unaware of the near catastrophe unfolding in its midst. Birds took flight from the treetops. A distant cyclist pedaled along a parallel path, and the morning air remained calm, betraying no hint of the crisis contained within a single car. The contrast between the serene external environment and the intensity of the situation inside the vehicle underscores the cruel unpredictability of accidents. The universe can appear tranquil while chaos unfolds unnoticed, shaping lives in ways that no one could foresee. Prince William's focus, honed over years of military and public service, remained steady, yet the gravity of the moment could not be denied. Each second extended in his perception, a tension-filled interval where instinct, reaction, and awareness collided. The hands on the wheel, the eyes scanning every curve and shadow, the mind calculating probabilities, these were all manifestations of a fight for survival. Yet, even as he responded with measured precision, there was an unavoidable emotional undercurrent, the stark awareness of how quickly life can pivot from routine to crisis. At this point, the accident had escalated beyond the ordinary bounds of control. The vehicle hit a particularly uneven patch of terrain, jolting violently. The momentum caused a sudden shift, tilting the car dangerously to one side, sending a jarring wave of uncertainty through the cabin. Heartbeats accelerated, breaths caught, and for an instant, the external world seemed to blur. In those moments, sensory details, flashes of light, the screech of tires, the sound of shifting metal, combined to create an almost cinematic intensity, as though time itself had slowed to accommodate the unfolding drama. Yet, amidst the peril, Prince William's reactions were precise, calculated, and determined. He leveraged every ounce of training, every instinct honed over years of preparation to regain control. This was not a moment for hesitation. There was no second chance in this sequence of events. Each micro-decision carried amplified consequences. The human body and mind are remarkable in their capacity to respond under extreme pressure, and in this moment, they were being tested to their limits. At the same time, the psychological toll of near-miss experiences began to emerge. Even as the immediate physical danger persisted, the awareness of mortality, of the fragility of life, surged through the mind. Questions formed in the background. What if I fail? What if the outcome is irreversible? How will my family cope? How will the world respond? These questions, unspoken yet profoundly present, are the hidden dimension of any traumatic event, a reminder that survival is as much a mental and emotional endeavor as it is a physical one. By the time the vehicle came to a temporary stabilization, the immediate threat had passed, but the tension did not dissipate. Each participant in the unfolding drama, from the prince himself to those who would later arrive on the scene, carried the residual awareness of just how narrowly disaster had been avoided. The vehicle, slightly damaged but largely intact, stood as a testament to both the danger faced and the skill employed in navigating it. Yet, even in this moment of apparent reprieve, the shadow of what could have happened lingered heavily, shaping the emotional landscape for the minutes, hours, and days that would follow. This near accident, beginning as a routine day and escalating into a life-threatening scenario, sets the stage for the complex narrative that unfolds. It reveals the unpredictable convergence of circumstance, environment, and human response. It underscores the delicate balance that defines existence, where a minor deviation, an uneven road, a brief distraction, a gust of wind can catalyze a dramatic sequence of events with profound consequences. For Prince William, this incident would not merely be a moment of personal danger. It would become a defining experience, one that illuminates both vulnerability and resilience, fear and courage, chaos and control. The morning that began with calm predictability had transformed into a crucible of uncertainty and survival. What seemed like routine moments governed by habit and expectation had escalated into a scenario that few could have imagined, and even fewer could navigate successfully. This chapter of the story is crucial not only for understanding the mechanics of the accident, but also for appreciating the emotional, psychological, and human dimensions of a near tragedy involving a public figure under extraordinary circumstances. As we move forward into the subsequent chapters, we will witness how this singular event rippled outward, impacting family, staff, medical teams, and ultimately the public consciousness. We will explore the precise sequence of actions taken in the moments immediately following the accident, the emotional and logistical challenges faced, and the subtle interplay of circumstance, preparation, and instinct that determine the outcome. Chapter 1, while centered on the day's beginning and the near miss itself, establishes the tension, emotional depth, and stakes that will carry through the remainder of the story. The morning that had begun with quiet routine was now irreversibly altered. Even the most meticulously planned days carry an element of uncertainty, but few anticipate the sheer force with which fate can intervene. For Prince William, the routine commute along familiar roads had become the setting for a dramatic escalation that no amount of training, preparation, or foresight could fully anticipate. What began as a subtle disturbance in the vehicle's movement, the barely noticeable jolt from uneven terrain, soon revealed itself to be the opening act of a sequence of events that would test courage, composure, and the limits of human reflexes. As the vehicle regained temporary stability, a sudden, unforeseen factor intensified the danger. Perhaps it was a fallen branch partially hidden beneath morning mist, or an unexpected patch of loose gravel. Whatever the catalyst, the car's trajectory shifted again, jolting violently and sending a wave of tension through the cabin. In that instant, the calm predictability of the day vanished, replaced by a palpable, almost cinematic sense of peril. For Prince William, every fraction of a second became critical. His mind, trained in high-pressure scenarios, analyzed options with surgical precision, yet instinct and reflex dominated in a way that is impossible to fully quantify. The unexpected turn was not merely a physical challenge. It was an emotional crucible. Fear surged, a visceral reminder of mortality that left no room for complacency. Thoughts raced not just about the mechanics of controlling the vehicle, but about the potential consequences of failure. The presence of his family, though physically absent in that immediate moment, hovered psychologically. Each passing second a reminder of what was at stake beyond the individual. These were the hidden layers of crisis that are rarely visible to the public eye. The internal reckoning with vulnerability, responsibility, and the raw awareness that life can pivot on a single decision. Outside the car, the environment offered no warning, no indication of the danger unfolding. The countryside remained serene, deceptively peaceful, as if mocking the human turmoil contained within the vehicle. Trees swayed gently in the breeze, sunlight danced across dew-laden grass, and distant birds continued their morning songs. This contrast, the calm exterior against the internal chaos, heightened the drama, emphasizing the unpredictable nature of accidents and the precarious balance between safety and disaster. As the vehicle veered unexpectedly, Prince William's hands gripped the wheel with a strength born of necessity. Each adjustment required precision and calculation, but the laws of physics and the vagaries of circumstance were relentless adversaries. The road, which moments earlier had seemed familiar and safe, now presented new challenges at every turn. Slopes, curves, and hidden obstacles converged in a way that magnified risk exponentially. The prince's eyes scanned for escape routes, potential hazards, and safe terrain, while his mind simultaneously calculated probability and consequence. It was a cognitive juggling act performed at high speed under the ever-present pressure of mortality. In those critical moments, the human body operates with a dual consciousness, a conscious effort to control the situation paired with instinctive, almost reflexive reactions that defy deliberate thought. Prince William's training and experience undoubtedly influenced his responses, but there was also an unquantifiable element of human intuition at play, a rapid subconscious assessment of risk that guided each movement of the wheel, each adjustment of posture. It is this interplay between conscious decision-making and instinctive reaction that often determines outcomes in moments of acute danger. The unexpected turn also magnified the psychological intensity of the scenario. Awareness of mortality, the sudden intrusion of fear, and the recognition of responsibility to others created a mental landscape as treacherous as the physical one. Questions and thoughts cascaded simultaneously. What if the vehicle flips? What if control is lost entirely? What if this moment becomes a tragedy with no return? These are the invisible stakes of near-death experiences, the mental burden that accompanies physical danger and amplifies the intensity of every action taken. As the car continued its precarious movement, the sequence of near misses escalated. Each obstacle narrowly avoided served to heighten tension rather than provide relief. The vehicle teetered, correcting with each instinctive maneuver, yet every second revealed how narrowly catastrophe had been avoided. This escalation, the accumulation of minor challenges into a potential disaster, illustrates the fragility of human control and the role of split-second decisions in determining outcomes. It was at this juncture that the environment seemed almost conspiratorial in its unpredictability. A slight misalignment in the road, a hidden dip, and a sudden gust of wind combined to further destabilize the vehicle. For Prince William, the sensation of losing control was both immediate and terrifying. Yet within this peril, remarkable composure emerged. He steered with precision, maintained focus despite the surge of adrenaline, and adapted to circumstances that would overwhelm most individuals. This duality, the coexistence of fear and control, is a defining feature of moments that test character and resilience under extreme pressure. The unexpected turn had transformed a routine journey into a crucible, revealing vulnerabilities that extend beyond the physical. The mental and emotional stakes were immense. Each second demanded acute awareness, rapid decision-making, and the ability to maintain composure under conditions that most people can scarcely imagine. For those outside the vehicle, the world remained deceptively tranquil, unaware of the life or death struggle occurring within a single car. For Prince William, however, the experience was a stark confrontation with the fragility of life, the unpredictability of circumstance, and the relentless nature of risk. This moment, charged with tension, danger, and high stakes, serves as the fulcrum of the narrative. It is here that the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, where routine collapses under the weight of unpredictability, and where human resilience and instinct are tested to their limits. The unexpected turn is not merely a physical event. It is a psychological, emotional, and existential trial, one that will reverberate throughout the chapters that follow, influencing decisions, reactions, and the broader impact of the incident. By the end of this chapter, the stage has been set for the ensuing chaos, emergency response, and emotional fallout. The ordinary day has given way to extraordinary circumstances, and the story of near tragedy begins to unfold in its full complexity. Prince William, faced with circumstances few could navigate, emerges as both vulnerable and remarkably composed, a human being confronting the raw unpredictability of life, courage, and the thin lines